Hello and welcome to Religion Anatomy. The dead internet theory. Is anyone actually out there anymore? What if I told you that the last comment that made you angry online, the one you spent 20 minutes composing a reply to, was written by a machine? What if the viral post that shifted your opinion last month was generated in a server farm, upvoted by automated accounts, and boosted by an algorithm specifically designed to make it feel like millions of real people agreed? That isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. On March 26, 2026, a cybersecurity company analyzed over 1 quadrillion digital interactions across the internet and confirmed what many had quietly suspected for years. Humans are now the minority online, and this changes everything. The dead internet theory began as a post on an obscure forum called Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe in 2021. A user named Illuminati Pirate claimed the internet had effectively died around 2017. That authentic human activity had been quietly displaced by bots, algorithmic content, and manufactured engagement, all engineered to manipulate real users into believing they were participating in genuine human discourse. For years, mainstream voices dismissed this as paranoid conspiracy thinking. Then the data started arriving, and it didn't stop. Human Security's 2026 State of AI Traffic and Cyber Threat Benchmark Report, released March 26, 2026, and based on analysis of more than 1 quadrillion digital interactions, reveals that automated traffic is growing 8 times faster than human traffic. AI-driven traffic surged 187% from January to December 2025 alone. Traffic from autonomous AI agents, systems that browse, click, transact, and interact on your behalf, exploded by 7,851% year over year. The CEO of Human Security, Stu Solomon, said it plainly to CNBC. The internet as a whole was created with this very basic notion that there's a human being on the other side of the computer screen. And that notion is very rapidly being replaced. This is not a fringe researcher writing on a niche blog. This is a major cybersecurity firm, publishing peer-reviewed findings, stating that machine-based traffic has become the dominant form of internet interaction. We have passed a historic threshold, and almost nobody noticed when it happened. Let's walk through what the data actually shows, because the scale is genuinely difficult to process. Ahrefs analyzed 900,000 newly published web pages in April 2025. They found that 74.2% contained AI-generated content. 3 out of every 4 new pages on the internet were not written by a person. On X, formerly Twitter, approximately 64% of accounts are likely bots. LinkedIn's long-form posts, those earnest paragraphs about authentic leadership and showing up as your whole self, are 54% AI-generated. Zillow's real estate reviews jumped from 3.6% AI-generated in 2019 to 23.7% in 2025. The proliferation of synthetic media has followed a vertical trajectory. In 2023, approximately 500,000 video and voice deepfakes were shared globally. By 2025, that figure exploded to 8 million, a 1,500% increase in 2 years. And Europol's projection for the end of 2026 is the one that should stop you cold. 90% of all online content could be synthetically generated or manipulated. 9 out of 10 things you encounter online by the end of this year may not have been created by a human being. The Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince stated at the SXSW conference in March 2026 that bots visiting sites behave fundamentally differently from humans, where a person shopping for a camera might visit 5 websites. An AI agent performing the same task will visit 1,000. The internet's infrastructure was never built for this. The economics of content, advertising, and engagement were built on the assumption that a visit means a person. That assumption is now dead. In late 2024, a team of researchers at the University of Zurich ran an experiment that exposed just how invisible and how dangerous this infiltration has become. Researchers from the University of Zurich deployed AI bots posing as real people, engaging with users without their knowledge or consent on the popular Reddit forum r/ChangeMeView, where nearly 4 million members post opinions and invite genuine debate. The bots took on fabricated identities, including a rape survivor, a black man who opposed the Black Lives Matter movement, and a trauma counselor specializing in abuse. They left more than 1,700 comments throughout the subreddit, and the bots were not just undetectable. The AI-generated responses were between 3 and 6 times more persuasive than those made by humans. Reddit's chief legal officer called what the researchers did deeply wrong on both a moral and legal level, stating it violates academic research and human rights norms. And information science. Professor at the University of Colorado wrote that it was one of the worst violations of research ethics I've ever seen. But here's the thing nobody is saying loudly enough: what the University of Zurich did experimentally and covertly. Political actors, corporations, and nation-states are doing openly and at scale right now on every major platform simultaneously. The experiment was outrageous because it was caught. The ongoing industrial deployment of AI persuasion bots across social media is outrageous because it is not. The dead internet isn't just about manipulation. There is a second, quieter catastrophe unfolding alongside it: the economic destruction of authentic human content creation. Google traffic to publishers dropped 33% globally between November 2024 and November 2025. Zero-click searches jumped from 56% to 69% in a single year. When Google's AI overviews appear in results, click-through rates drop 46.7%. Users get their answers without visiting publisher sites. The consequences for real journalism, real creative writing, and real human expertise are severe and immediate. Stereogum lost 70% of its ad revenue in 2025. Business Insider's organic search traffic fell 55% between April 2022 and April 2025, forcing the company to cut 21% of its staff. Chegg reported a 49% decline in non-subscriber traffic year over year. The economic model that funded quality human content, journalism, research, creative work is collapsing precisely because AI-generated content has flooded every surface, displaced real results, and trained users to expect answers from machines instead of people. And here is the cruelest irony. Large language models are increasingly being trained on AI-generated content because 30 to 40% of the active web is now synthetic. The machines are training on themselves. Each generation of AI learns from the outputs of the last. The authentic human signal, the actual lived experience, the genuine insight, the real perspective, is being diluted out of existence. Does this make the theory right? Here is where intellectual honesty requires a distinction the theory's most extreme proponents miss. In a 2026 article, scholar Hal Burgle proposed a leaner version of the dead internet theory, stripped of conspiracy, focusing on algorithmic content, generative AI byproducts, and the difficulty people have distinguishing human from machine content as the core, verifiable phenomenon. The internet is not being run by secret elites. There was no catastrophe in 2017. What happened is mundane and far more dangerous. Market incentives rewarded scale over authenticity, automation over effort, engagement over truth. Nobody planned this. Nobody needed to. The algorithm didn't care who created the content, only whether it performed. Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian said at TechCrunch Disrupt in October 2025 that the dead internet theory is real. Shortly after, he relaunched Dig in January 2026 as a platform for trusted human users. It closed 2 months later in March 2026, citing an unprecedented bot problem. Even the people trying to build a solution couldn't outrun the machine. Here is where we stand, verified in April 2026. Automated traffic now outpaces human traffic online. 3/4 of new web pages are AI-generated. The majority of X accounts are likely not human. AI bots are between 3 and 6 times more persuasive than real people in debate forums. Europol projects 90% of online content will be synthetically generated or manipulated by year's end. And the economic infrastructure that paid humans to create real content is in free fall. The dead internet theory asked a simple and terrifying question. Is anyone actually out there anymore? The answer in 2026 is fewer and fewer. We need your honest answer in the comments right now. The next time you read a comment that moves you, angers you, or changes your mind online, will you ever be fully certain it was written by a real human? And if you can't be certain, does that change what the internet means to you?